So it's the end of yet another week, and here on this channel that means one thing and one thing only. Every weekend I post an episode of this series we do called Your Take Not Mine, where I turn to you, the viewers, to give me your hottest NBA takes of the week based on what's going on at the time, and I then choose my favorite submissions and discuss them in a video. This week we've heard so many rumors about potential trades, we've seen some teams make emphatic statements, and some players have even been stealing the show by going off out of nowhere, so we definitely have a lot to discuss. In order to submit your takes, I make a community post on either the day of or the day before the video, similar to the one that you see on your screen now, so if you want a chance to be featured in a future episode, be sure to stay on the lookout for that. Before we start though, I want to thank PrizePicks for sponsoring this video. PrizePicks is the perfect service for all of us basketball fans here because when you're involved, it makes watching games every night so much more fun and engaging. Basically, it's an application that provides you with lines on all kinds of individual player props, such as points, rebounds, and assists, and you simply have to choose whether you believe they will record over the set amount in the line or under the set amount in the line. Make your selections, wager however much you want to, and if your picks hit, you can win some big money. For some picks I'm looking at making for today's slate of games, I'm gonna go with Jalen Green to score over 14.5 points, Tyrese Halliburton to grab over 4 rebounds, and Cade Cunningham to dish out over 4.5 assists. If this sounds at all intriguing to you, then go use the link in the description of this video to sign up today and use promo code REFERENCE to receive a 100% deposit match bonus up to $100. Once again, thank you to PrizePicks for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back into the topic at hand. The first take we'll be discussing today comes to us from Mark, and he says that Anthony Davis is actually more likely to be traded from the Lakers than Russell Westbrook is. So, as we approach the trade deadline this season, rumors will continue to swirl. By now, we've all come to this realization, but the Lakers are definitely one of the most disappointing teams in the league, and they have a lot of issues that they need to address if they want to turn things around and make themselves into the contenders that they were supposed to be. After trading for Russell Westbrook in the offseason, hoping that he could be the third star to take the team to the next level, that move has backfired as hard as possible, and his flaws as an individual make him a rough fit on this particular team. His turnover problems have arguably never been worse, he's scoring the fewest points he's averaged since his second season in the NBA, he still can't be relied upon as a shooter from the outside, he has a tendency to blow easy layups every now and then, and honestly, Lakers fans are starting to get fed up. Because of all of that, he's been a very easy nominee to find himself on the trade block, and there have been some reported rumors about the Lakers shopping around to see what they could get for him. But we can't forget that, despite being injured at the moment, Anthony Davis was also having a pretty down year early on. Davis definitely has more value on the trade market than Westbrook does, so I do see where this take could be coming from, but despite that, I still don't agree with it really at all. Yes, trading Russell Westbrook is going to be a more difficult task, and also yes, his value across the league has declined a ton because his monster contract and his poor performances aren't exactly a great duo. But despite that, there really isn't a single circumstance that I can see the Lakers keeping Westbrook and trading away Anthony Davis. The next take we'll be discussing comes to us from Nathaniel, and he says that Klay Thompson's return to the court was overrated, and he's not as good as everyone is expecting him to be. So this week, after 2 seasons away from the game due to setbacks with injuries, Klay Thompson finally made his return to the sport, and naturally, it got a ton of attention. Klay is such an easy person to root for whether you're a fan of the Warriors or not, so obviously a ton of people were excited about this, and with the Splash Brothers being reunited, hopes of a return to their former dynasty ways have been discussed a ton lately also. The Warriors have the second best record in the league right now to add on to it, So getting Klay Thompson back into the mix to add on to that success they were already having was supposed to take them to another level, but we probably do need to pump the brakes a little bit on that front. See, the reality of the situation is that when you sit out for 2 full seasons, it's going to take a while to get back into the swing of things and impact the game as positively as you once did, and we're seeing the rust in Klay's game already. He's played in 3 games so far since his return, and he hasn't made over 40% of his shots in any of those 3 games. You can practice shooting in an empty gym all you want, and even get as many practice reps as possible, but game reps are completely different, and Klay will probably be rusty for a while. Literally, in this Your Take Not Mine series that I've done, we've had a couple say in the past that Klay's return makes the Warriors unbeatable, and that they should be the clear-cut favorites to win it all because of him. But again, we need to remember that Klay right now is not the same Klay that we've watched for years prior to his injury. I probably wouldn't say that his return is overrated like the original take states it was, but I do think people are drastically overrating the kind of impact that he's going to bring as he works his way back to full strength. And finally, the last take we'll be discussing today comes to us from Varv, and he says that he actually thinks that Ja Morant is going to prove to be a better version of what Derrick Rose was before his injuries. At his peak, Derrick Rose was the youngest winner of the MVP award in the history of the NBA. He was a freakish athlete that would explode to the basket with his bounce, his finishing was unparalleled at the time, his quickness and speed were dominant, and he was a walking highlight reel. Plus, as an MVP winner, he obviously wasn't just someone who dominated the SportsCenter top 10 plays, but he was also a player who led the Bulls to the top seed in the Eastern Conference standings and elevated those around him. While his prime was cut short from those unfortunate injuries, it's still a pretty high bar that he set for players who may be compared to him down the line, and this season in particular, the comparisons between him and Ja Morant have really started to heat up. The similarities are definitely there too, as Morant has taken over a young Grizzlies team and led them to unexpected heights, outperforming all expectations, just like Rose did at his best. And while it may be a hot take to say he's as explosive of an athlete as Rose was, he's pretty damn close if he's not there right now. Morant has made the Grizzlies must-watch television on a nightly basis. He's a walking highlight reel himself, whether it comes from a poster dunk or an absolutely absurd block where he pins it to the top of the backboard, and he plays his best when the moment is brightest. Obviously, he's not going to win the MVP award right now like Rose did when he was this young, but it can be argued that the MVP race this season, and in recent years in general, are more competitive than they were back in 2011, and the talent level has risen. But even besides the accolades, their production is pretty eerily similar too. If I'm being completely honest, I don't think it's crazy at all to say that Ja Morant is this generation's Derrick Rose, and because of how early Rose's prime was cut short, we should all be praying that Morant stays healthy so we get to enjoy the excitement that he brings to the game for as long as possible. It's tough to say if he'll be better at this point like the original take stated, but there's no denying the similarities between the two. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think about the takes we discussed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.